Do
It's a
you
mess.
think, like, when you go out with these caddies and you're on these real nice courses, like, this is the problem I have with the caddy. The issue I have is I almost feel like they're just there judging your game, and even if they're not showing it, it's like you do, to some regard, you want to impress your caddy.
Well, yeah, you just don't want to be pathetic. I think that's like where I always like just don't be like so bad that I'm pathetic today. That like I can't hit a golf ball, that I can't, just don't be at that level. I will say something that always kind of calms me down is like when you're doing like the early banter and you're like, yeah, do you play? And they're like, no. I'm like, unreal.
We're good. That's exactly
Or
what we want to hear.
evens me out. But then we're like, yeah, like I'm trying out, like I'm almost on like, the Corn Ferry tour, but I'm like, you're like, dude, I don't like. I'll just carry the bag.
By the way, I think almost every caddy's had a shot at the Corn Ferry Tour at some point. You know what I mean?
It feels like there's a big percentage of them out there that are close. But I will say, it relaxes me when they're just like, no, I don't play golf. I just caddy, and I'm like, unreal. Let's go. Let's go.
Are you ever a guy? Do you ever, when the caddy's on the green, do you ever see this? I can never fathom me doing. Do you ever question their reads? And if you are, do you let them know that you're questioning it?
So no, because I don't putt well or anything like that. I will give like an "Are you sure?" The other thing that I've gotten really good about is like,
"Are you sure?"
"Are you sure?" Like, I don't
Yeah,
know,
of course.
like it's something totally different. But then sometimes I will say, and I don't know, maybe this is the wrong thing, but because you're paying the caddy or whatever. I'm just like, don't give me a tip unless like I ask for it, like on the fairway or something like that with the range. Like, don't give me the one thing I hate is certainly like driving or an iron play is just tell me the number. Like whatever the number is, just tell me that. And then if I ask for a tip, just tell me that. And that came off like I'm a dick. I feel like I've got pretty good, usually banter or rapport with caddies, but like that's what I ask for. And then on the greens, I say pretty much tell me everything. Like anything you see, just tell me, because I've got less of a clue of what's going on out there.
What do you think the standard caddy tip is? Because you can't do 20. You just can't do 20. These guys are working hard. I think it's like I always wonder, and throughout the round, I'm wondering, what should I be tipping this guy? And I'm thinking that on like hole 3. What's a proper caddy tip, Lurch?
So I don't even know. I think like $100 standard bag is like what they go for. And then when you go to these fancy clubs, like sometimes it gets more than that. And whatever that is, just tell me what that number is, and I'll just give them the caddy, like whatever. Yeah, I don't know what that is though. But it's definitely gotten more, because when I would play like in high school or college, I would play like one round a year or something like that. And we would play, and it was like, I think it was like 65 or $80 at the local course around me. But now it's like anything under 100 is like, you can't come out here. And then it gets up to like 120, 140 at some places, and you're like, I should become a caddy.
I agree with you in the sense of it's kind of, I feel like $100 is the standard.
Yeah.
So, look, you're not going to blow the guy away if you give him 100, but at the same time, you're good. You're not going to get questioned. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I will say, if I shank balls all over the golf course, if it's like a total mess, then I up it a little bit.
I got news for you.
He's doing a little bit more work.
That's a great point. That really is. Because come to think of it, maybe the $100 is a little short from the times that I've had caddies to where they find these balls too. You'd be amazed that they find.
Oh, they're incredible. They're incredible. When we played the Kisner match, that guy, our caddy down there, was the best thing I've ever seen. 4 guys, he would force them. He 4 caddied for us. We'd hit all 4 balls. By the time we walked to the best ball that we were going to play, he had picked up all 3 other balls, and given us a distance, and given us like, it plays up, plays down, little win. Like he knew everything. Dude, he would, as soon as we hit, boom, 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 scurry right off and get all 3 balls. Even if we shanked them, dude, he'd find them. They'd be cleaned off and right in the palm of his hand. He was amazing.
Do they ever, for you, when there's a lot of terrain, when I've noticed that I've had a caddy, and it startled me the first time that I had a caddy, was I'm getting ready to go I'm on the tee box on 1, He comes up, and I think he's going to chop it up with me. He says hello and then bolts it to the fairway, but I haven't shot my shot yet. You know, so I'm thinking, I didn't know that what they're supposed to do is get out there so they have a better read on these things.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always tricky though, because when they do that, it puts more pressure on you.
Totally.
I
can totally agree.
I can pull it way left, and you're already 200 yards out. Because the worst thing you want to do, I start to feel bad when they now have to walk back. Walk back is one of the worst walks in golf, where you top it 30 yards, everybody starts walking off, and maybe your caddy didn't even see the ball, so he's like, oh, maybe I just lost that one. But then you got to give him the wave, the driver out of the rough to save him the 200 yards and the embarrassment. But no, you got to give him because your buddy's like, this is match. I'm not giving you a mulligan. So you got to give him the wave.